Greetings and welcome to the very first podcast from souldreamz.com. That's dreams with a Z, like zebra. Today is January 1st, 2016. Happy New Year, everyone. My name is Kenyatta Robinson, and I am the founder of souldreamz.com. SoulDreams.com is a website that I created. It's more of a blog that I created in order to talk about three topics that are usually top of mind for me, and they are music, technology, and sports. I hope that you find some of the topics that I discussed on this podcast to be interesting, and hopefully you'll come back and join me. Bear with me, folks, as I'm just getting my feet wet with this. I graduated with a degree in broadcast journalism from San Francisco State University. Wow, more than 20 years ago. So it's been a long time since I've done anything really broadcast related. It's always been a passion of mine or an interest of mine, and I'm really excited about having this technology to, try and explore this again and see if it's something that I can do on a regular basis. So I hope you decide to come back and join me more frequently as I try to create more podcasts in the future. I do ask that you bear with me. I'm trying out, basically everything that I'm doing here is new. I've got my iMac in front of me, and I'm trying to record this podcast using GarageBand. This is the first time that I've ever used the software, so I'm learning it as I go. I went into my garage and found my old the Snowball microphone made by Blue Microphones. I probably purchased this thing, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago, and really didn't put it to any good use. And I was just happy that I was able to quickly locate it and plug it in, and it still works. So I think I've got the tools. Hopefully I've got the content, and hopefully this will be a good podcast. Sadly, the new year got off to a rough start for me. When I woke up, usually the first thing I do is glance at my iPhone, and I had a notification at the very top that indicated that singer Natalie Cole had passed away. So this naturally took me by complete surprise, as I didn't know that she was sick. Went to the TMZ website and saw that she had passed away on New Year's Eve. Sounds like it was from congestive heart failure, and that she had many other ailments that had slowed her down, causing her to cancel many of her concert dates that she had scheduled during the month of December. So apparently she had been in failing health. So I was very sad to see this news, as I thought that, Natalie Cole was a great singer. A classic singer. She could sing R&B, she could sing jazz, she could do the classics. We all remember through the magic of technology, the great duet that she did, singing songs like Unforgettable with her dad, the great legendary Nat King Cole. So very sad to learn of her passing, and not really the type of news that you want to see when you first wake up on New Year's Day. So hopefully 2016 will be a positive year and not one filled with tragic deaths, but we know that all seems to come with the territory. On a personal note, my wife and I we ran into Natalie Cole many years ago. I would say this was probably Well, not quite 20 years ago. Actually, maybe it was. It was when we first got married, and we've been married now for 22 years. So it probably was around 20 years ago when we ran into her. We were still living in Los Angeles at the time. We saw her at the Good Guys. Many of you who you probably have to be in your 30s, maybe your late 20s. You might remember the Good Guys. It was an electronics store, kind of like, think of Best Buy. I mean, that's what the Good Guys was back in the 1990s, 1980s. Wow, I can't believe it. I'm making myself seem really old as I reminisce on that. But anyway, we saw her at the Good Guys on, I believe it was La Cienega Boulevard in Los Angeles, very close to the Beverly Hills area, the Beverly Center. And it was really the first time that I had seen my wife be starstruck. I mean, we had come across other celebrities. It just happens when you live in Los Angeles. You're bound to see some celebrities here and there. But seeing Natalie Cole and, up close and personal, it was one of the few times that my wife was somewhat speechless, and you could just see the happiness in her eyes. I know that she'll deny that she was starstruck, but trust me, folks, I know it when I see it, and she was really excited to see Natalie Cole, and that's something that I immediately thought about when I heard this news this morning. Great lady, timely classics. I mean, her music will live on through the test of time. It's not a trendy sound. It's a sound that will hold up no matter what decade you're listening to. Her music was just classic. So Natalie Cole, you will be remembered, gone at the age of 65, gone much too soon. As I sit here trying to do my first podcast, the thing that I'm struck by most, in my mind, I always thought, I could just jump right back into broadcasting. I mean, it was my first love. Surely I can do this. And, as I sit here and I'm going through this, I didn't write a script. I just kind of made out some bullet points on the things that I wanted to talk about. And what I'm struck by is, when you're trying to speak, without having a lot of pregnant pauses, it's hard to catch your breath. And I don't know, maybe I'm just nervous. But I, feel like I'm running a lap. So please excuse me if it comes off as if I'm breathing really heavy here. But I think I'm starting to get readjusted to it. So just bear with me. But I mean, that's the thing that has struck me. But anyway, I digress. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the iPad Pro. Now, surely you've probably heard about it. I mean, this is Apple's latest iteration of the wildly successful iPad. There was the original iPad, and then they made the iPad Mini, which was like a smaller version, and they also had the iPad Air, trying to take advantage of technology that they use to make really thin tablet-style devices. And then combined with the emergence of the iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus, which was kind of like their mega-size iPhone that they created to combat the likes of Samsung. I have an iPhone 6 Plus. I already had an iPad Mini. And I absolutely love my 6 Plus. I love the size. You know, it's definitely bigger than the very first iPhone that I bought. Just love it. But what I found is that it's so close in size to the iPad mini that I also have that the mini just lost a lot of its usefulness for me. I mean, the iPhone, you know, it's going to be the device that you just naturally have with you all the time. You go out of the house, you know, you're going to take your cell phone with you. When I first bought the mini, my thought was that, you know, I will take this mini with me everywhere. And I even bought the version that has the cell phone connection, you know, the AT&T connectivity. So I'd be able to connect whether or not I was near a Wi-Fi hotspot or not. So that, you know, that was my vision. I was going to use the mini just all over the place. But then, like I said, when I got the iPhone 6 Plus, the need to have that mini just went away. So when Apple announced this iPad Pro, which had been greatly rumored for a long time, they finally released it in November. And, you know, I have to admit, I was skeptical. I thought, you know, this is just Apple again trying to recreate something that they've already been very successful with, and just, you know, putting out yet another size needlessly was really my thought. So I was convinced that the iPad Pro would not be something that I would want. I mean, I was interested enough to, you know, watch their unveiling. I watched that live. It caught my attention. I have to admit, you know, I'm an Apple guy, but, you know, when I really thought long and hard about it, I thought, you know, it really doesn't bring that much new to the table other than this pencil, this Apple Pencil, which is a stylus device that is just counter to what, you know, if you remember Steve Jobs saying famously many years ago that, you know, no one wants to walk around with a stylus. So now here's Apple, you know, releasing it with this stylus. I mean, okay. But the stylus really seemed to be something that artists would be able to take advantage of. But, you know, I can't draw a lick. Now, my daughter, you know, she's a great artist. I mean, I don't know where all this talent has come from, but I mean, it has really come naturally to her, and she's really good. And I could see her, you know, she's 10 years old, and I could see her in the future, you know, using something like an iPad Pro with this pencil to create some outstanding digital projects. But for a guy like me, talentless when it comes to drawing and painting, you know, I just didn't see the fit, you know, coupled with the high cost. I mean, we're talking, you know, like $750 plus tax for the entry-level version of the iPad Pro. That only gets you 32 gigabytes of storage space, which is just, I mean, my iPhone 6 Plus has 128 gigs, so, you know, that wouldn't work for me. But anyway, so, you know, for me, I would need the 128 gigabyte version of this iPad Pro, and that's going to cost you $950 just for the Wi-Fi version. So I just thought, you know, this is not the device for me. So sure enough, after Christmas, you know, my wife, she has to drag me out to do some after Christmas shopping. You know, she likes to take advantage of these sales that she believes are in existence after Christmas. So find myself at the at the mall, at the Stone Ridge Mall in Pleasanton, California, in the Bay Area, the